and welcome to the Dynasty Deal Show. I'm Ty at TyDeclare44, and I am joined today by Scott at CharlesChillFFB and Shane at Shane Says FF. And yes, this is the Dynasty Deal Show, the YouTube members only premier Dynasty Trade Show, where we answer your questions. $3.99 to get in the members only tier here. Shows drop early Friday mornings. You can get your trades in early, and we hit all the trades again. We don't league shame or anything like that. We hit whatever's put in front of us. So if you have questions, pop them in the chat, and we got you. Okay, this again. So live trade every Friday, 9 p.m. We go live. Hit that little QR code in the right-hand corner if you want in on everything that DD has to offer up on the website. And guys, you know, I have one rule on this show. You hear this noise? We wrap it up. And we're going to start this show with Anthony West. And shout out to Anthony West. Send some love. Going to watch the show tonight. Happy. But got us a super chat. $5 super chat from Anthony West. 10 team, start 11. It's a super flex PPR, tight end premium of 0.5. This team is Allen, Hurts, Bijan, Achane, Chase, Jettas, Nico, AJ Brown, JSN, McBride, and Hawkinson. Pay to brag. Absolutely, Anthony West. Jeez. Give Jordan Mason and a second for Terry McLaurin. Shane, I want to hear this from you. On a team like this, stacked, ready to go, paying to brag. Mason and a second or Terry McLaurin?
What the hell do I need with Terry McLaurin? Let me just do the math here. 2, 4, 6, 8. I want JSN over him. 9. McBride, 10. Nah, I'll just hold on to Mason in the second. Terry McLaurin's not even cracking my starting lineup. He's my second string. I'm fine with having Jordan Mason in reserve and then using that second or Mason in season if in case an actual need arises. Let's just say I trade for Terry McLaurin now and then there's a running back injury to Bijan or Achane. You know what I mean? Like, or Mason at that point, whatever. I lose some running backs. It'd be nice to have those bullets then as opposed to shooting them off now for someone that, quite frankly, I don't need, and he's not better than anyone I have in my starting lineup.
Scott, has your impression or motivation or valuation of Terry McLaurin changed with any of the news that has come out, you know, as we trying to get a trade, trying to get signed? And how do you feel in this deal here? Mason and a second for Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't even going to be a player take because obviously McLaurin's in the midst of the wants a trade, wants a contract, etc. But 10 by 11, that's 110 starters, equivalent of a start 9. I know it's a full PPR, but the reality is Terry McLaurin has really no place where he is an elite outcome receiver. So you could insert Devontae Adams, you could insert Mike Evans, anybody into this range, and I'd rather have Jordan Mason in the second because in a shallower league, the impact, if things go right, something has to go right, or in this case, wrong for your team to need either Terry McLaurin or Jordan Mason, or the equivalent of finding whatever they would be out there on the market, right? You don't need either one right now. But if it goes right for either player, I'd rather actually have Jordan Mason in a shallower league, to be honest, especially with the way my roster's set up. I mean, you even have Hawkinson in a half PPR where you're sitting there going, he's probably close to a top 20, 24 receiver. If you have to flex him, I don't want to flex him, but if I had to, he's still right there with a guy like McLaurin, and you have 5 receivers easily above McLaurin, plus whatever else you could flip for more receiver value picks, whatnot. So I like getting the second here because it feels like I'm kind of getting like 2 Jordan Masons, which I already kind of prefer the Jordan Mason bet here. It's not like Jordan Mason couldn't be a standalone starter in a week or two where you need somebody to fill in for what you already have, but he could also be easily injury away from a top 10 guy, top 12 guy. And that's just even more impactful than McLaurin. I think the takeaway here, Ty, is how quickly we have to get past in some of these shallower leagues or leagues that have a lot more at stake, whether you're right or wrong. You got to get over the sexy name of Terry McLaurin and that Jordan Mason is a UDFA backup running back. You have to kind of look at, if I'm right, what side would I rather have? And it's easily the Mason in a second. It's 2 for 1, because really that's what McLaurin is to your team, is probably around a second. So unless you know you can flip him for a first when he signs, easy deal here. Don't do it.
Yeah, that's just it. On this team, when things go right, what's actually going to impact your team? I like having the extra second. I like having the running back that can ascend in value versus my wide receiver 6 at August 1st. So agreed. Thank you, Anthony West, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Look at this. We got Jag, we got Squid in the building, and we're going off the rails of the Dynasty trades. Aussie themed show tonight, guys. So we're gonna go a little crazy.
I just need you to know I do have a bat. I will be biting its head off.
All right, we'll stick around for that later on.
Thank God it's not going to air live,
Yeah.
except for the members only. We'll get to see what it looks like before we put it to the public.
Yeah, make sure you sign up for that specifically. Jay Jackson, 10 by 10, one quarterback. Scott, are you sending Devontae Adams and Tyrone Tracy for Caleb Johnson? On his team, he has Connor, Tracy, Najee, Cans, and Pop. This trade is currently in his inbox. So are you making this deal 10 by 10, one quarterback?
We just did a little bit of an analysis in a 10-teamer. This is a 10 by 10, so it's even shallower. And I did mention Devontae Adams as one of those guys where I'd rather have a running back than probably him, even though I think people think he has a higher outcome than probably what would be expected. He's probably not going to be a top 12 receiver. So he just falls in that range where he's a nice starter. What is he on this team? You're fifth. And I could argue Rome, Waddle, DK, all those guys could be right there with him. So he's definitely expendable on this roster. Yeah, I think I'm doing it, especially with my running back room. I don't feel great with Tracy and Najee as my 2 and 3 in a 10-teamer. And I have wide receivers for days. And the fact that you're able to get this deal, if I'm trading you Caleb Johnson, Shane, and I see your receiver room, like Devontae Adams isn't the one I'm asking for. You know what I mean? I'm going like, can I get Rome? Can I get Waddle? How about T? How about DK? Can I have anybody probably but Devontae Adams in this deal? But to get Caleb for him as the one receiver you can let go, easy.
Yeah, I think he's being realistic, or she is being realistic, whoever made that offer. Because, if you come to me and you're like, can I have AJ Brown for Caleb Johnson? I'll kick you in the nuts. Like what? Or female genitalia. I don't want to be sexist here. I'm going to kick you in genitalia because that's absolutely ridiculous. There's no way I'm doing that. In 10 by 10. So I think that party is just being realistic. They're looking and it's like, well, can I get Adams or can I get Terry? I probably could. I personally, if I'm them, I'd probably ask for DK and Tracy. I don't love giving up Adams. I actually think Adams can be a top 12 wide receiver. I think he can be. Although Matt Stafford's back's probably going to have to get a lot better for that to happen. But I'm okay with the deal. I'm fine with it. It's 10 by 10. I don't really need depth. And I'm just looking again at the wide receivers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Legitimately 7 other wide receivers that are startable. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think on this team, you're itching to try to push 2 things together and tier up in your lineup. So if Caleb Johnson's that piece, I'm totally cool with it, Jay. Again, 10 by 10, one quarterback. You know what you're doing. Some people in the comments they don't like 10-team deals. So we're not we don't league shame.
Like if you don't like 10-team deals, 10-team league deals, then sign up and drop your trades in there for your 12-team, 14-team, whatever. I don't, whatever. I don't really care because I always look at it like this. Even if it's not a league that I play in, if it makes me use my brain in a way that I don't typically use it, makes me think in a skew way than normal, then I like talking about it because that's at the end of the day, your brain's a muscle and I like to work it out. Because if you don't, then I guess I don't know what happens to your brain if you don't work it out. I got to be honest with you.
Probably not.
I love when Shane has. You think he has this prophetic answer, and then it just fizzles out, and he goes, I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know. That's what happens when you don't. You know what I mean? You don't exercise your brain enough. Well, you get 3/4 through the statement, and then by the end of it, it's just like I don't know.
Listen, we don't love 10-team trades either. Like we don't play in a lot of 10-team, if any. But you know what? A lot of people do. And they're to Ty's point. I think part of getting reps at doing this and why we enjoy doing trade shows and why we wanted to bring Dynasty Deal Show back was basically because it does involve thinking. You know what I mean? It does involve you having to think through the format and go, okay, how would I adjust what I know about the market of this player because it's a 10 by 9 1 QB? Not what I'm going to go out and play on this year for my teams, but I think understanding kind of how to think through the different player markets and stuff is beneficial, even if you don't play in those leagues. So don't hate. There's members paying to have their 10 teamers answered.
Yeah,
so we're here for them.
We learn. It doesn't matter. Like Shane says, it might not calculus, but it might not play it, but we can get there. So no, we appreciate it. And hey, if you don't want to, you can even sign up and drop in a not a trade, but looking for a few more to join a slow startup. Best ball auction, 125 per season. Hit up Hen in the Discord, or shouts out to Hen, one of our friends in the show for sure.
If you want to lose, hit up Henry. He's a tough. He is a tough competitor. That is for sure.
Absolutely. But let's get back to the old trades here. So Matt Dorian, 12 team PPR start 10. It's a 0.5 tight end premium. This team has JJ McCarthy, Bryce Young in backups, Bijan, Genty, Tootin in backups, BTJ, Neighbors, Rice, Waddle in cans, Loveland in cans. Got an extra first and 26 in all of our futures. Strategy question. Given my skill player positions are good, but my quarterbacks are question marks, should I go into the season and hope my quarterbacks pan out, or make moves now to get in the safer spot quarterback-wise? Shane, I made a ton of trades this week where I felt like I was more so motivated to try to get my week 1 lineups set on these teams that I think can be strong contenders. Generally, I don't want to overvalue that week 1 depth chart, value, because the trades we make in July can really bite us in the ass down the line. But on a team like this, is it worth it to try to make a move at the quarterback there, or anything else you would see that you'd want to do on this team?
I would like to upgrade at quarterback, at least one of the spots. I don't need to do it at both, but I'm not comfortable going in with JJ McCarthy, despite him being the greatest quarterback of all time to some of Twitter, because his rookie season really lit it up, and really high production in college too, and Bryce Young. I don't know. I don't want to go into the season with both those guys. I mean, you have a Cadillac with Bijan, Genty, and Neighbors, Rice, and then Waddle. A quarterback would really help this out. Plus, you could use another high-end player in your roster, right? So I'm okay trying to tier up to a quarterback. The problem is where? You know what I mean? Where am I getting? If I add a first to Bryce Young, where is that getting me to? Probably is not as high as I would like. If you added a first to McCarthy, I don't know. I don't know how far you could get up, because he's QB. He's higher than I would like. But I think he could probably make some noise. But you want extra first. I'm good doing it now, because, the season is less than 30 days away. I have no idea when the first game is. It's about 30 days away. If you want to start looking at your lineup and filling it out, I have no problems with that. If you could find a way to get a quarterback without moving either McCarthy or Young, I'd be good with that as well. Because if McCarthy is everything that everyone thinks he is, well, then he's going to be very, very valuable.
Mm-hmm. So Shane, you have that extra first and 26. You have your own first as well. Are you adding a first to Bryce Young to move up to any of Kyler, Baker, Purdy, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, anyone in that range?
Not Jordan Love, not Jared Goff. I would for Kyler, and I would for Baker.
Okay. Would you try to aim higher, like a Drake May, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud?
All you want. You said aim higher. I don't know why you put CJ Stroud in there, but Bo Nix and who else?
Bo Nix, Drake May.
Drake May. I'm trying to tear off of Drake May. I'd be doing the opposite. I'd be like, here's Drake May for JJ McCarthy in a first, and I love Drake May. It's just he's too high priced for me.
I'm gonna put Shane's feet to the fire here, Shane. Okay.
I don't want to be on fire.
I'll give you Bryce Young, Jalen Waddle, and 2 firsts for Josh Allen. You doing it?
No.
Okay. Bryce Young and 2 firsts, and maybe throw in Tootin in a second. You doing it?
For Josh Allen?
Yep.
No.
You mean no? You're not. This team gets Josh Allen.
Oh, I'm okay. So I'm giving up Bryce Young.
So Waddle, Bryce, and 2 firsts for Josh Allen. You doing that?
That's a lot. That is a lot.
And what I'm getting at here is you have Rice suspended. You then only have 6 starters. You just traded your first that could, no matter how good Allen, Neighbors, Bijan, Genty, and BTJ are, it could still be the 105 because you literally don't have any other players. So unless you have a plan, this feels like a team that, do I want to upgrade at quarterback? Yes. Do I want to get another high-end starter or 2? Yes. I'd actually go the other way. Can I get Amari and Hampton in a first for Bijan? Then I start building my way. But I have to take some risk with one of the assets that I have, because I don't have enough right now in a start 10 to just start throwing shit around and up tiering at 2 different spots. I don't even have a lineup. I have Rice that could be suspended. Not that I care about a suspension in Dynasty, but on this team, if he misses 5 games, like he's my 5th best player. You know what I mean? And I don't have, because you notice he went right to backups, cans. So I'm guessing the bench players here are like, you might have a Cedric Tillman type laying around, which can get you by in 1 or 2 spots, but not 4. Plus having 2, let's just call it non-top 12 quarterbacks, most likely, and a rookie tight end. Like, this team's too young to be a serious contender. It's too early to just throw 2 firsts plus one of your quarterbacks to go get a hammer unless you have another plan. So I'm trying to go the other way, honestly. I think you can upgrade at quarterback, but where can we extract some value out of this roster? You know what I mean? Can we move BTJ or Neighbors for a Drake London in a first type of deal like that? I'm still staying high end. I'm not trading BTJ for 2 firsts or something like that. But if I can get net starters to be the same and add another piece, then I'm willing to start throwing stuff around. That's just what I would do, Matt. I think it's a little too early. It just sucks when you have a roster of Bijan, Genty, Neighbors, and BTJ, and you're staring at like, well, maybe I'll punt the year. You know what I mean? It's tough. You have those 4 players, like you almost think I can win with replacement level at every other spot, which close, but you don't even have enough depth to do that. So give it some thought. I
think you could do it maybe in like one fell swoop, right? If you added like Bryce Young and BTJ, can I get, I don't know, Lad McConkey and Brock Purdy? Like, can I go up at quarterback while going down at wide receiver, or try to put it onto one if I want to make it pretty? But I agree. I think on this team, you'd feel a lot better if you built out more and then probably wait until the season, look for opportunities. Maybe some of those backups become more relevant. Maybe another deal comes across your plate where it pushes you forward without pushing out your value. But Scott, one more question on this. Like, are you trying to do this now, or are you trying to do this more in season to address the quarterback room, assuming you have to pay one of those first to get it done?
So on Mannequin Show the other night, we looked at the quarterback data, and I don't see a big difference between like Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, JJ McCarthy. Like 2 of them have been good before. The others really haven't. But if you just look at ranges of outcomes, like the odds that any of those QBs are a big needle mover is low, but all of them could be anywhere between QB 10 and 16. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I'm that far off at quarterback. So I don't want to add one of my precious firsts to get Kyler Murray, because I'm not gaining any real dynasty value there. I'm gaining an advantage, but it's an advantage that I don't really have the ammo to take advantage of on this specific roster. So I'm fine actually doing it now, Ty, but I need to accumulate. Mm-hmm. Like, sure, I'll give you Bijan and Bryce Young, but I need, I don't know, think of, can I get RJ Harvey and Lamar Jackson, something like that. Like, it's got to be a high-end type of deal, not I'm just inching my way up. I don't want to do a 2 for 2 where it's like, sure, I got Brock Purdy and Lad McConkey, but it's not a guaranteed upgrade. You know what I mean? I want to add stuff to this roster before I start throwing extra assets around. Leverage deal.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, Matt. Go have some fun. And update already on the show. Jay Jackson accepted that he got that Caleb Johnson for Adams and Tracy deal. In our defense, we had 2 guys leave garbage orphans, so we just downsized and did a dispersal. Fair enough.
I don't care, dude. No, I'm not against you. You play in the leagues you like to play in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
Sometimes you gotta say the same freaking thing to people. Like, if you don't like it in the comments, go play in another league. It's fine.
There you go.
No one's asking you to play in these leagues. Go away.
I am, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump to the top of the queue here. John K, first one in the chat this morning. Has to wait 18 minutes to get his trade reg. Is a tragedy. But 12 teams, start 10, Superflex, PPR. It's a 0.75 tight end premium. Traded Justin Jefferson, Aaron Rodgers, Tank Bigsby in a 26-second, projected to be early, for A.J. Brown, Ken Walker, and a playoff 26 first and a random 2027 first. Using open roster spots to grab backup quarterbacks. I have some team context here. I'll read that off in a second there. But Shane, I'm going to start with you. I see you counting. How is the calculus feeling here? 12 teams, start 10, Jefferson, Rodgers, Bigsby in a second, A.J. Brown, Ken Walker in 2 firsts.
So let's just do fun math in my head. So I got AJ Brown in 2 firsts for Jefferson. I'm winning. Yeah, I'm winning. Rodgers, Bigsby, and a second for Ken Walker. Sure, I probably lost that portion of the trade in points on a calculator. But no, I like this. I like this trade a lot. That's capitalizing on the name Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson is very, very good. But AJ Brown is pretty good too. 17 points per game, like 4 out of the last 5 seasons. Even in a down year like last year, he still hit that mark with a like 35% target share. Imagine what happens if Saquon can't carry the ball 450 times, which is probably likely. So I like this deal. I do like this deal.
Madden curse, Will Shipley season, whatever comes. But Scott, so this team, May, Fields, Dimes, many backups. Gibbs, Genty, CMC, Walker, a few rookies. Chase, Puka, AJ Brown, Hunter, Jacoby Myers, Luther Burton, Hunter Henry, Chig. Any tips on spending draft picks in season as a contender? So again, 12 teams start 10 Superflex PPR. Trade Jefferson, Rogers, Bigsby in a second for AJ Brown, Ken Walker, and 2 firsts. How do you feel on the deal on this team? And any comment on the trading draft picks in season as a contender?
I like the deal. I think Shane kind of broke it down. You got credit for things that are typically hard to sell. And I think in today's Dynasty game where there's a lot more content, things move a lot quicker. Yeah, you can probably say, okay, Tank Bigsby could be worth a second if he has a role opening day. You're giving up Rogers, who he's a quarterback and he's starting, so someone probably wants a second to sell him. So it's like I gave up 3 seconds, but at least 2 of those seconds or equivalent were guys where you're like, man, no one even wants to buy him. So you got credit for stuff that's hard to sell, and you got back 2 firsts and 2 legitimate starters that are going into your lineup right away. So I love that deal. So now you're looking at this team going, we added Ken Walker to that running back stable. I mean, you have a complete stranglehold on the league at running back. I mean, potentially like 4 of the top 12 potentially. So, I mean, awesome. And then Chase, Puka, AJ Brown, and you add Travis Hunter's upside in there. Luther Burden is one big play in the preseason from people buying in. So I think you just kind of sit back. Like you have a good enough team where I hit the lineup button to start and I'm right there. You know what I mean? You legitimately have 10 good starters. I mean, sure, your tight end is weak a little bit. So if you wanted to explore an upgrade there, fine. But at least you have Hunter Henry with Drake May. So I'm good with, if that's all I have, at least I have the stack. So I'm just kind of sitting back. Like I did that deal so I can sit back and be the one that has 3 extra firsts now. No rush to go and try to, because what are you trying to get? Oh man, can I get Justin Jefferson for 3 firsts? Like you just made the decision that on this team, you can afford to move him for equity. So don't get in a rush if your lineup doesn't look as good as every other team in the league today. You have enough, but you should have the stranglehold. We don't know if there's a trade deadline or not, but a league like this where there's no trade deadline, you're sitting pretty. If you can just get into the mix to have a buy and you have 3 firsts to spend, I mean, you're buying what you want down the stretch. So you did this deal for a reason. Just sit back and wait.
Bring that back up, though. I'd say that this team is probably as pretty as just about any of the women in the league, except for the quarterback room, right? Like the Fields could really make this a good-looking team.
I mean, both his QBs, Shane, have upside that if they're right, you probably have 2 top 12 quarterbacks. So
yeah, I mean the rushing upside for May, I've heard 700 yards bantered about,
and 4K passing.
Yeah, we hear things out there. People don't.
This isn't the Bryce McCarthy quarterback room, right? This is one where it's like I have some upside built in already.
Yeah, and you know what? McCarthy probably has some. If I'm looking at McCarthy and Young, just going back to that, McCarthy definitely has more upside than Bryce Young at this point. But yeah, I mean, McCarthy wasn't hurt on this team. If it was like Fields and McCarthy and May, like you're feeling pretty good. Dimes, whatever. But I actually like a lot that you didn't just go the other. Like it would have been easy for you to go, let me add a first to Burden and see what I can get, right? And then have no moves left in you. But you looked at the roster and you go, well, with Chase, Puka, AJ Brown, Gibbs, and Genty, I'm probably in really good shape. And now if I add some picks to this, well, AJ Brown, you add it, but now I add some picks to this, and that's going to leave me very bendy in season when I need to make moves. And then you still have Burden and you still have Hunter to make moves with if you want to in season, if they're not giving you that, that level of production you want, but good enough production for a rookie that, it's attractive to other people. So I like that deal a lot.
Yeah. Like Shane, I want to stay bendy as much as I can in fantasy. And I think with that team, like I said, you're going to be fine. You already have at least 10 starters. Yeah, probably have a couple of guys on the bench. I don't want to really use my first to tier up right now and make that happen. But like Scott said, especially if there's no trade deadline, I love having those in my back pocket where I know when teams want to kick it to the future, I have what they want. that we can get something done. So go have some fun, John. Good stuff. I don't know who posted this, who will shave their beard first, Ty or Scott. I'll tell you for free, it's not going to be old Declare. Jag says all the way up. Scott, agreed.
It'll probably be gone by the next show. But curious, Ty, when is the last time there has not been a Ty Declare beard? Has it been a decade?
October 2015.
Okay, so we're getting close.
Is when I met my wife. I shaved once, and she said, "Never do that again." And I never shaved again. And when I proposed,
she said, "I will never be your wife."
You'll never keep shaving. Literally, when I proposed to her, she took a little while to answer, and the final question was, "Are you going to shave your beard?" And I said, "No." And then she said, "Yes." So it's locked in, and now I'm hitting this. People didn't come for the old for the beard talk. Well, they might have actually come for the beard talk, but
God, that was so loud, Ty.
Oh my God, I even turned it all the way down, Shane. Jeez, maybe we should make it shorter. Sean Hamilton, 14 teams, start 10 with vanilla. Shouts out Sean. Took over this team near the bottom in value, 1% chance to make the playoffs. Sean, trade Achane and Ridley for Judkins, a 26 first and a 26 third. Team trading the picks is top 3. I don't think it's enough in a 14 team. Am I wrong, or any counter ideas? So Scott, you just took over an orphan. There's no chance to win this year. Achane and Ridley for Judkins, a 26 first and a 26 third. I'm assuming this is a question about risk tolerance / actual value and trying to figure out where that all kind of balances out in a 14 by 10 vanilla format. So how does that hit you?
So let's take the Judkins situation and risk out of this and just insert placeholder, solid rookie running back that we can project isn't going to be just a one-hit wonder, right? Like, they have some capital, they have some name cachet behind them. So let's just assume it's a late first-ish value. Not flexible because he's a running back that currently is facing a suspension and isn't signed. But for all intents and purposes, he slots in as just kind of that if we just get back to status quo. It's a savvy offer by the other side. You just took over the team. It's a 14-teamer, so we're talking 140 starters. So a guy like Ridley is a smash starter in a 14 by 10. 12 by 10, he's probably right on the fringe, but 14 by 10, he's in the lineup. And you're kind of at the mercy of, you probably have Achane as your best asset you're willing to trade. I mean, we don't know anything else about the team, but like, that's probably the guy everybody's trying to get off of you. And so this guy's like, here, I'll give you Judkins, and I assume it's probably a later first, right? It's not next year's 101. It's probably a team that's willing to bet on their first being late. Judkins in a first for Achane in almost any format where I'm not contending is kind of like, I got to do it. No matter how good I think Achane is, that's the best deal. But then it's that savvy, but you also got to give me that Ridley for a third. And it feels like as soon as he goes out and has a game, he's easily worth 2 seconds in a 14-teamer like this. So you are compromising, but there's also risk that something goes south with Judkins and, you can't turn around and flip them. So you're taking a lot of risk here if you acquire Judkins, but I think you almost have to do it. Like, this is the kind of deal that if you want to expedite your rebuild, unless you can say, hey, let me shop. Shane, would you shop Achane around to the league for maybe 48 hours? Just what else can I get that's better and not have to just throw Ridley in for free?
Yeah, it's a rebuild. Like, I want people competing against each other to try to get my best assets. And I'm generally not a someone send me an offer guy in the
and you chat. Like Judkins. So I'm curious as to your thought on this specific one. No,
because it's a 14 team, right? So if this ends up being Judkins in the 112 for Achane and Ridley, I didn't win. I lost. Achane is significantly that's what I'm looking for. I like Achane significantly more than I like Judkins. 17 points per game in both of his first 2 seasons, top 5 running back. So
and think about what the other manager is thinking here. They're panicking on that Judkins, right? They're probably sitting on a contender and they're going, man, I'd love to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and get rid of that late first and that Judkins for a automatic in my lineup starter package. Like, there's some pressure on the other side to get this type of deal. Maybe it isn't your Achane and your Ridley, but I bet you they're sitting there. Have you done this before, Ty, where you're sitting on a volatile player and you're going, I'm just waiting for that. I'm sending this offer to 3 or 4 other teams at the same time, trying to see if someone will bite on the hook. You know what I mean?
I've made some variation of this trade offer. 7 to 7 other teams in one league I'm in. Now, it's not Achane. It's Garrett Wilson. It's Drake London. It's various wide receivers along that lane. But I think Achane probably was one of the ones.
Judkins in a first. You're sending that, and you're getting.
I'm trying to get Achane in like something. You know what I mean? Like, and the something could just be, and again, it's one of those just make me feel better somethings. Keon Coleman. You know what I mean? Like someone that had
Bigsby, a Roshan Johnson, someone like that, like just a backup running back.
Yeah. Because I'm getting Achane with it. Strip away all the
and like Shema tried doing the same deal. So you would do here, Scott, to kind of prepare your team for the year ahead, aside from trying to shop this out a little differently, see what else you can get for that Achane. 14 miles.
I mean, we don't know the rest of the roster, but I mean, he says bottom 1% chance to make the playoffs. So I'm guessing there's not. Achane's probably his best asset or right there. If he's got a better one, it might be like a quarterback that he doesn't want to deal or something. But I think if you're that far out, like you do have to be looking at what's my plan for this year, not just to trade one player because he's old or he's a running back. You got to be looking at like, okay, it's 1% this year. Even if you hit on some picks and you add some leverage deals, like you're not going to be at 90% next year. So you need to maximize like every roster spot, grind every trade. Like, you know what I would be doing? I'd probably be sending Calvin Ridley out for like a second and a third, or a second and a running back. I don't even need a third. It's something I can flip if there's an injury. You know what I mean? And then when I move Ridley, then maybe this team that still wants Achane is willing to come back and go, here, I'll give you Judkins and a first for Ridley and this backup running back that you have. I'm more open to do that because that's more of a direct leverage deal, 2-for-1. I have to make the bet on Judkins, but at least a lot of situations I would sell my Achane for Judkins in a first, just knowing that I'm active and I can move it around, especially in a 14-by-10. Like Judkins doesn't have to be elite for me to have him as a starter, nor does that first rounder. So try that. Maybe put a little pressure on this guy because I guarantee you if you take Ridley out of this deal, the guy may still do it, but he's probably sitting there going, man, it's just not as appealing as I thought it was going to be when I sent it out. Like he wants Ridley for free. That's where he's getting that extra value. And he's trying to sell you on the name Judkins. And reality is with rookie running backs, we were talking about this the other day in voice chat, Shane. I don't think it came across this exact way, but Judkins is a good prospect. He got good draft capital. But when you draft a guy like that, he needs to have he needs to look good in the car lot. And then he needs to get onto the street going. You know what I mean? It can't just be like, well, he'll live on that pedigree for years. Right. Like Dynasty will forget about him if he's misses half the year and then comes out and looks slow or lethargic or he doesn't pop right away. Then you'll be going, he's the next Trent Richardson. You know, like that's going to be the comp, and it'll be like quick. So he's not really an asset at that point. Like he's got to hit the ground running. So there's some risk.
Absolutely. But go have some fun there. There's Sean. It's a good deal. Like I said, I think getting Ridley off your team, getting into guys like Judkins, I think it makes sense to take on risk on this team, but you don't got to do it right here, right now. Don't got to take the first one that comes across your desk. So you have some time before the season to align that. Go have some fun. Dorf does fantasy. Happy Friday, y'all. Got a big deal done yesterday. It's the same team as last time. Another pay to brag team. Sent Bo Nix, Trey Benson, Cam Scadaboo, Sampson, and Kyle Williams, and a 26 and 27 second for Dak, Achane, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, and Kelsey. So the team was Burrow, Nix, Baker, Genty, Bucky, Kamara, Najee, Benson, Scadaboo, Tootin, Spears, Giddens, C. Merritt, whatever that whole name comes out to be, Kyle Monangai, Chase, Nico, Rice, Terry, Debo, Godwin, Puka, Jawan, Kyle McBride, Engram, and Fannin. So he's adding just starters on top of starters, basically getting rid of all of the back end junk on his team to go from Nix down to Dak, getting Achane. I mean, Dorf, it's a great deal. But Shane, let me ask you, on a team like that where you are so stacked, are you trying to get like your bench filled out with all the starters as well and almost trying to play a little keep away from the league at that point? Or like, are you more apt to try, I don't know if picks are even available here, but trying to go more liquid at that point?
So this was what was the league setting on this again?
It doesn't
10 by 10.
Could be 10 by 10, could be 12 by 10. If Dorf's here, maybe he'll pop it in the chat.
Either way, what's the is? Give me back the is.
The
team
is.
was.
The is. Wait, no, there is no is, but yeah. So basically, he got rid of Nix, Benson, Scadaboo, Sampson, Kyle Williams in 2 seconds. He got Dak, Achane, Jones, Adams, and Kelsey.
I mean, yeah. So he just added 460 years in age. So I probably do want some liquidity just because I'm gonna get old really quick. Like Devontae, Kelsey, and Aaron Jones, and this isn't being hyperbolic. Every one of those dudes could be retired by this time next year. At least one of them probably will be. So I probably do want some liquidity as opposed to, and that's Kyron Williams, right? Yes.
Kyle Williams, I assume, yeah.
Kyle, not Kyron. Big difference there. Yeah, very big difference. But I probably do want some liquidity. I'm not big. I've never been big on let me go pay for my bench. I never. It's not something that I do. I'll pay for my bench when my starters get hurt and I need to go buy another starter. That's when I'll pay.
And Scott, I think in theory, adding the guys that Dorf got in this trade could make trading guys like Genty, Bucky, Chase, Nico, those guys more expendable, more easy to trade because you have this point scorers on your team already. But again, with this team, like, are you making a deal like this, or are you trying to approach it a different way?
Oh, so now that I look at it a little bit more, I mean, it's a great deal. I mean, he basically took 2 backup running backs, Kyle Williams, and then, well, really, Cam Scadaboo's a backup. But the point is, he took all young running backs, which maybe it's just the way we do things, but I don't care about young running backs. If they're not starters or they're not great, then they're just young and not great, and they're fine. They're no different than an old and backup running back. So I don't look at like Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason any different than I look at Trey Benson and Cam Scadaboo, because they're basically just 1-year bets, all of them. But the fact that you added, Dak and Achane and Devontae Adams, like those guys are probably threatening to start. But then I kind of look at like, do we need Aaron Jones as our RB5? Do we need Travis Kelsey as our tight end 4? You know what I mean? I mean, he's probably there, at least your tight end 3. Him and Ingram probably are not starting for you. So I think what this deal does is it's almost like, do I really want to buy like my neighbor's beat down car? Not really, but if he's going to sell it to me for like $100, then sure. I don't want to park it in my driveway. I'm going to look at it every day and I'm going to go, how do I get rid of that thing? So you're going to look at your roster and you're going to be looking at your bench. You're going, man, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin are all on my bench. Alvin Kamara, whoops, didn't start him this week. It's like you're going to have to at some point start finding strategic ways to use their points and liquidate other stuff, which means you may have to split. This is a team where if a Puka pops, like I'll sell him for 2 firsts. That type of deal. Rashee Rice, somebody wants to buy him when he's about to come back. Like, you got to make 1 or 2 of those deals just to kick this monster forward. But I mean, come on. You got 2 rosters that you can probably set, and your second team is outscoring at least like 3 or 4 of the other lineups every week.
Yeah.
So it's just, you can't turn the deal down, but then you're like, I got some work to do.
Yeah, you may have made your Sunday mornings hell to try to figure out what player you're going to jam into your lineup, but you simply can't say no to a deal of that value. So, yeah, Dorf, big deal, good deal. But yeah, I'm going to try to find ways maybe in season to take some of those older point scorers, stack them onto something else and see if I can, go up somewhere else. But I think at a certain point, your league mates are going to look at your team and be like, man, I don't know.
And that's not how you want to sell all those old guys, is it, Ty? Where you just get back a bunch of handcuffs?
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you got nothing back that's flexible. So
this is probably a move solely for Bo Nix, right? Solely to get the quarterback upgrade. And if this is a 10-team league, then I don't even want to really do that. So,
I mean, Achane and Nix or Achane and Dak is an expensive Bo Nix. Oh my God, seriously. I mean, ugh.
And then it's Jones, Adams, and Kelsey for Scadaboo, Benson, Sampson, Collins. Yeah, just excellent job, Dorf. You're showing why getting your deals in the Dynasty Deal Show leads to good teams, and you've done a great job with that team before and after. Keep it up. Alec Malone, super flex, 12 team, start 10, 1 PPR, and a 2.0 for tight ends. The team is Jaden Daniels, Hurts, Chase Brown, RJ Harvey, Chuba Hubbard, Brian Robinson. We got T-Mac, Tet McMillan, Worthy, Golden, Adams, Ayuk. We got Colston Loveland and Terrence Ferguson. 426 first, 526 seconds, was a touch late with the starters, and this one fell into his lap. So he sent away Brees in a 26 third. He got Chase Brown and Worthy. Wow. How do we feel overall about this group going into the season? 3 or 4 contenders a bit stronger than me, 3 to 4 heavy tanking teams as well. So he's right in the middle. He wanted to make a move, and this gift just kind of landed in his lap, Shane.
Yeah, I love Brees, but well, apparently the Jets hate him because they don't like good football players there, and they're still a joke of an organization. But really doesn't matter why. The why is it is what it is. Chase Brown's got literally nothing in his way from doing what he did last year. Absolutely nothing. There's no reason that you can't expect him to do what he did over that, whatever it was, like 11-game stretch over a full season. Even if you just have Chase Brown and Brees even, that means you got Worthy for a third. So I love that deal. Absolutely. So there's 3 or 4 contenders that are a bit stronger than him. Go back to the first screen. Yeah, I don't know what you call it. So we have 426 first and 526 seconds. So we were talking earlier about, not feeling the need to go ahead and add to my roster just to make it, I guess, pretty. But I wouldn't mind adding to this roster here if I can find ways to use Golden, if I could find a way to use maybe even Worthy now for a high-end wide receiver. Not together, I mean separately, but that's where my mind goes, right? I have these 526 firsts. I want to take the 3 worst that I have, 3 best, however you want to say that, the ones that will be the latest. Can I use those, Golden and Worthy, and get myself 2 high-end wide receivers?
Shane, you got Jalen Hurts. Are you sending Golden in a first for AJ Brown?
Yeah.
It's
I
expensive,
am. But I mean, I'll ask for something back too with it. Scott's saying no because Scott just wants to. Scott, in the real world, I have 526 first, bro.
No.
Yeah, all right, whatever. Yes, I'll take AJ Brown. And does he have a Tank Bigsby that he could throw in with it to make me?
I got $100 bill in my wallet. It doesn't mean I'm going to go buy a bottle of water for $100 just because I can. Yeah, I don't
AJ
have
Brown's
to.
not a bottle of water. He's Perrier.
It is on a
Perrier.
thirsty hot day.
Perrier, baby. You don't know about that. That's a fancy water.
Topo Chico is fancy. Wait till you get Perrier in the system. Yeah. So, I mean, Scott, you can talk about the deal a little bit too, but there was another question here by Alex. So, in this league, the Puka owner is desperate, wants 3 firsts for him. How much would you be willing to give up for Puka? Doesn't feel like this team is ready for that kind of move. 2 to 3 firsts can fall in that 4 to 8 range that he has. So, he has some of those truly random firsts. He doesn't feel like the team is really in the place where he can just post it and send 3 firsts for a stud player. I mean, Puka would fit pretty nice in the roster, but is that what you're doing on this team and just in general on the deal, the team? How are you feeling?
Well, let's start with the deal. I'll hit on it real quick. So you get essentially the equivalent of probably a high first value in Worthy now that Rice's thing is lingering. People already like Worthy. He's on the Chiefs. So you're getting that for basically running back dynasty value. It doesn't exist for 2 running backs that are not rookies, and both are kind of what they are. They're both good. But clearly people think Brees Hall is still young and he has all this upside, even though, I don't know, he's the same age as Chase Brown. So it's like, it doesn't matter. They're literally, if they're good this year, they'll be valuable next year. So the fact that landed in your lap, especially in a league where you're not even a top 3 team, this is a dream trade because it doesn't make your team worse. And you added another starter, which you desperately need. So like I would do another deal like this or 2 before I'd even worry about trying to catch those other 3 teams. But you've probably sucked out a lot of the picks already because there's those 3 or 4 contenders. They're probably not interested in sending you their studs for your picks. So you're probably in a place where you're pretty gridlocked here. Now, the other great news is you said there's 3 or 4 tankers. Like you're a lock to be in the mix and you have more assets than everybody most likely. So I think you look for, a deal or 2 where you can upgrade. Puka for 3 firsts. It's a 2 PPR tie. I wonder if I can maybe hack the settings a little bit. Do I need to pay 3 firsts for the receiver? And I know it's Puka. It's a top 6 receiver, wherever you want to put him. But it kind of feels like, can I get Trey McBride for 2 firsts? That type of deal. Can I get Kittle for a first?
Kittle for a first is a much better deal than 2 for McBride, but yeah.
Well, and that's the kind of Kittle and can I get a first and Terrence Ferguson for Kittle? If that's what I had to pay, like I'd be willing to do that before I just spend half of my savings on one player. Not saying receiver doesn't matter here, but it matters a little less relative to the tight ends. So I'd probably shoot for those tight ends first. And I'm not going after Bowers. I'd probably start at McBride, but I'd be willing to go into the Kittle, Hawkinson, even like the Andrews range. If I can just add a guy like that, that's as good as a wide receiver 2. Not a wide receiver 1, but if any of those guys hit their higher range outcome, hell, Evan Ingram is one we just talked about, right? Like Evan Ingram, I might even be able to get him for like Ayuk and Terrence Ferguson, something like that. And I preserve my picks and I have a lights out starter in a 2 PPR, a guy that could score 300 points in a 2 PPR league. So I'm trying to do that before I'm just blowing everything on Puka. But it's nice to know that there is a manager desperate enough. And I'm guessing the Puka manager is one of those teams that's tanking and is looking for kind of like a reshaping trade. So maybe you get it for 2 and you throw in, I don't know, can we throw in Ayuk and 2 firsts for Puka? I'd rather do that. Something like that, and I'm cooking. I'll throw those out, but I'm not just throwing 3 firsts and settling. I don't have to do it right now. I have Hurts and Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
And Chase Brown. And Tet and Worthy. Like this team is good enough, and I know I'm going to be in the playoffs with this team. It's just how high do I want to aim this early?
Yeah, absolutely. And if that Puka team has one of those tight ends that we just talked about, can I send 2 firsts, Ayuk, and I'll throw in Terrence Ferguson out. If Loveland's what gets it done, it can be that too, but I'd love to probably hold on to Loveland just for the value there. But can I smush that all together, get Puka and a tight end, right? Because I agree, Scott, 2.0 tight end premium. Yes, your room, it's young. It'll probably be replacement level, but it feels like that's probably the position that can actually edge you out a week as we get into these mucky weeks, especially if you're going up against 3 to 4 top end contenders. So I'd love to get into a McBride on this team. Shane, anything else on this one?
No,
you're the Puka guy. So
I'm not giving up 3 firsts for Puka. I am reticent to give up 3 firsts for any player. Like it
doesn't feel great, does it? Unless you just have a riches that you can afford to lose on a win.
And this guy's got 5 firsts, and I'm still like, maybe if I had 6 firsts, maybe
first 5 seconds, but yes.
Okay, but he doesn't have the team where you're like, if I have 2 other Pukas and Jaden and Hurts and Bowers, then it's like, okay, if I can add that other piece, then sure, I'll do the 3 first. But it's not like his roster is just the best in the league, and he's adding another. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
and even if it was, though, it's just I can't give up 3 firsts for. I don't know a player that I can give up 3 firsts for because my mind immediately goes to 2 firsts is like, all right, I can stomach that, add a player to it too. I get to the 3 and I'm like, well, I could have done more with that. I could have done different things with that, right? Instead of just getting 1 player, I could have gotten 2 off of this guy or that girl. Like just I can't get there anymore. Maybe I'm guessing all the because you would say normally, Shane, well, if you're going to offer this for Puka, offer it for Chase, Jefferson, Bowers, like down the line, all the guys you would value ahead of Puka first. But I'm also guessing most of those guys are spoken for on those other 3 or 4 contenders. Yeah.
So think about it logically. None of those other contenders probably have your ammo to buy Puka. And the Puka guy's not selling him to anybody else.
Right.
So you can go, I want to help you. You want to help me, but you don't have 3 other teams offering you 3 firsts. None of those teams that would be interested in buying him have 3 firsts. So like you kind of have to deal with me. Mm-hmm. So there isn't a rush. You know what I mean? You can come back to that Puka in week 2 and go, okay, now I'll do it. Cause it looks like, I'm ready to rock, but like, you're just not in a rush to do it right now. I'm with you.
Immediately my gut says 3 firsts. No, can I make it 2 firsts and a player and get credit for a first with that player? And then go from there. But yes, I agree. I'm also going all the way to the top and working my way down before I'm pulling the trigger on that one. But it sounds like you have some options. You're in an interesting spot having your team. You're not going to lose with your quarterback room and all that. How can you crafty and maneuver that one? Shane, Michael has a question here. Do you ever look at the early season schedule when deciding when to make moves before the season? Is it safer to playing a couple rebuilders week 1 versus 2 and then buying players later when the other 2 contenders are? So basically, if you look at your schedule, you see some crappy teams in front of you.
So I don't need to do anything to beat them.
Yeah. I don't know if having like a median game in there changes at all for you, but do you look ahead and kind of make some decisions on there of when you're going to spend your picks?
I'll say I have it in the past. That's not something that I've gotten. Not in depth. That's not the word I'm looking for. I am captain. Like I believe in variance. You know what I mean? So sometimes I think I'm trying to make a move based off what my roster needs, not if I think I need something or I don't need an additional player to beat team one's brains in. Mm-hmm. Most of the leagues we play in also points matter, right? Points are in some cases the last 2 playoff spots. So if I'm going to add to my roster, regardless if I think I'm going to destroy the team in week 1, I'm going to add to my roster in week 1. I'm not going to hold off till later to buy it. I mean, generally it's just what type of offer is presenting itself to me and what type of offer can I make. I don't generally look at like, oh, okay, I'm playing a loser team this week. Now, obviously when the season is ongoing and I start looking ahead and I go, all right, well, I've got to win 4 out of the last 7 games. And 2 of those teams are juggernauts. I almost said that, gigolos. I don't know what I called them. The last 2 teams are gigolos. Anyway, so if I'm looking at them and I go, okay, I need some firepower to beat them, I think I'm more apt to look at it at that point.
Yeah.
I think I was going to call them juggalos. Yeah. There you go.
I saw where you were trying to go. It's pretty cool, Scott. When you get on enough with Shane, you start to see where his mind's trying to go, and then you see where it takes the off ramp. But do you let the schedule affect your timeline on when you make trades, Scott?
So I wouldn't say I do it to start the year. Like I haven't looked at my schedules in July or right now going, okay, who do I play week 1? Do I need to get ready for week 1? Or I don't do that. But where this does come into play is, and it's something that I really haven't appreciated or probably put enough into the analysis of being flexible and having activity during every single week of the actual season. I mean, that's more prevalent in Dynasty where things do become week to week. There's a lot of times during the season where I will make a move or not make a move because I look and I go, man, I really need to fill this spot. But then I look at this week and it's like I'm a 95% chance to win. Like I don't need to make the move this week. I might start that non-quarterback in the super flex, or I really would like to try to upgrade or trade. When a player gets injured sometimes and you're like, man, he's going to miss a month. Like I'm like, okay, that impact of those 4 games he's going to miss. 2 of them, I don't really need them. You know what I mean? I can just slide in the backup and I can get away with Mariota for Jaden Daniels instead of I need to go and try to flip Jaden Daniels for, Jalen Hurts or, you know what I mean? Like I can get away with it. So I do look at the schedule a lot during the season and just go, dude, if I'm like a 70% chance of winning, like I don't need to probably add anything that week. If I lose, I lose. But I do look at the schedule during the season because I think those off games where you lose and you thought you should have won, like that can matter. That can matter. A difference between 3rd, 4th, 5th place and a bye is huge. So I think kind of game theory in those week to week matchups. Now, if you play median or you play in something where there's double headers and things like that, then that's a little bit different. But if it's just straight head to head, it does probably matter more than we give it credit for in the analysis.
Yeah. And there's a difference between like a true dumpster fire rebuild and a team that just doesn't look sexy, but could pop off week over week, right? So
sure.
I don't want to make assumptions on what a team's going to score, what a team's going to do. But if I know I have a team, I'm facing an absolute dumpster fire, have all the first in the league, no other players in a best ball. I know I'm going to win that week 1 game. I do feel like I'm not as much in a hurry to make deals to happen, but things can change right away. And week 2, I could feel completely different. So I agree. Something more I'm doing in season once I know where I'm at and what I have to do. But really good question, Michael. Okay, last one. Hill Bullies. 12 team start, 10, 6-point passing touchdown, no point per carry. It's quarterbacks. We got JJ McCarthy, Dak, and Fields. We got Bijan, Caleb. We got BTJ, JSN, Shane's favorite, Ricky Pearsall, Mike Evans, Shakir. I have an offer of getting me Puka for JSN and a 27 first. Shane, looking at this roster, are you giving up JSN and a first for Puka?
Jack Fields, Bijan, Caleb. Oh, I got to think quick. BTJ. Oh, it gets so thin so quick. No, I can't do it. Can I do? I already know the answer, but can I do Ricky Pearsall in the first for Puka? I'd feel a lot better with JSN as my wide receiver 3 than Ricky Pearsall, Parasol, whatever, Parasol. I can't do it. I can't.
Shane, if you send me that counter, I'm literally counting you back JSN, Pearsall, and a first for Puka.
I'd love that Lexus over that Honda Accord. Can I get it for the same price?
Yeah. I can't do it, and I love Puka, but no, this team's not. It's not ready for that. I don't think I want to be doing this.
And I don't want to give my 27 either because I'm looking at my quarterbacks. They're a little risky. I mean, outside of one or two pieces, like this feels like the sucker deal on the other end. If JSN and Puka are within 10% of each other, you know what I mean? You're banking a very volatile 27 first. I'm definitely not. That's not how I want to trade my 27 first, especially.
Yeah. I said just not the way I want to do it. Like not the team that I want to do this on. Not like if we're talking 10 by 9, yeah, I might be more on board with that, but not here, not with this team. I'd rather have that first.
Would you do a QB tie?
Sure.
Would you do like Dak and JSN for Puka?
Sure. Can I get like a Sam Darnold or like something else thrown back just to make me feel better?
How about a second? Or I mean, this team could probably use a Tyrone Tracy type running back or Travis Etienne, something like that. You'd do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What else could I solve in the deal? Right. I just don't want to just ISO leverage myself just to get Puka and feel better about it,
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Well, here, I'll just put a bookmark on it. We did it. We made it through the show. We were supposed to be off the rails. I think we're kind of on the rails, but yeah, we made it. Scott, any other final thoughts on the show?
No, this was a good one. Last two shows have been good. I think the major takeaway has been a lot of these questions seem to be around like people are hunting for deals now. You got people coming back around because now that we have games, we're going to have preseason games coming up real soon. Like there's going to be some more action. But it seems like a lot of these deals were, okay, it's a good deal, but I don't need to quite do it right now. I don't need to go spend all of my picks just because I got an extra first laying around. Like I don't need it. Go listen to, and I hate plugging other people's content on here, but it is members. This is something that I listen to, but go listen to the Dynasty Points show from like a week ago. And they talked about, it's Ryan Heath who wrote the article. I think it's an article that used to be done by Scott Barrett before. But anyway, the whole podcast is just talking about, and it's a sobering reality that basically less than 20 players matter every year. If you're really talking about your typical start 10, I mean, when you get into some deeper leagues, best ball, crazy scoring, okay, it gets a little more variable. But if you're just talking a lot of the deals we got today, we're 10 by 11, 12 by 10, like the 60th best player versus the 100th player matters very little. So if that's the difference in terms of what you're having to maneuver around the board, then fine, take some risks there. But a lot of times the deals are much bigger than that. So just listen to that and kind of remind yourself like what the ultimate goal is. And remember, your lineup doesn't have to look perfect. You probably don't want to start a guy like a Darnell Mooney. If he's playing week 1, I probably don't want to start him in a start 10. But like Jordan Addison isn't an upgrade. You know what I mean? Like that's where people get ahead of themselves and like, ooh, I'm getting some value here. But value is only as good as what you can actually realize. And when it comes down to it's those top 10, 15, 20 players, the needle movers, the hammers. So just think about that before you make a deal, before you start sending 3 firsts for a player, before you start giving everything up for one advantage.
Shane, final thoughts?
I think you probably should go to me before Scott, since those are all deep and profound and stuff. Shit.
Shane, repeat what Scott said. I have no clue.
No, dude, how long, Scott? You've literally known me for 36 years now. For 34 of them, I've been saying what? There's like very few players that actually matter in Dynasty.
Yep.
Like that's literally the whole.
Well, just in fantasy football, everything else are just like fun trading cards that you trade around with your friends. That's really what it is.
They're replaceable pieces, and that's for years people didn't understand that. They'd go, a wide receiver 2 isn't replaceable, and I would go, you're stupid. And then I softened my tone, and I found another way to say it. So that's all I got.
Shane, don't sell yourself short, buddy. I appreciate your words. I think you're very profound, and the calculus calculates sometimes. So, oops. This has been the Dynasty Deal Show. Big thanks to John K, to Sean Hamilton, Alec Malone, Dorf, Henry Reyes, Matt Dorian, Anthony West, Jay Jackson, Michael Talbot, Hail Bullies. We saw Jag up in the stream as well. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week. Make sure you just tune in, get your trades in early. We added this thing. Peace.